now we are coming towards the form deployment. Okay, now first of all, we are now creating a logical layout of how our site will be deployed. That part is very important. If you have already gone through my previous slides and have listened to all the logics very carefully, then this slide is going to be very interesting for you. First of all, I am assuming that I already have a domain, my own domain, that is hltf.tech. You may have your different name domain. First of all, I have deployed a new database server. Okay, this is a database server that will be my primary database server. Now I will deploy a new virtual machine, and I will install SharePoint with the role of application server. That will be my primary application server. Okay, you may have multiple application servers, but let me tell you very clearly that if your application server is dealing with only the default applications or minimum user profile service, manage metadata service, it will not have a lot more load on it. Application servers, if you install search service in this server, that is an additional role of search, then this application server will have a greater load. But if you have planned to deploy a separate search server, then there is no need to create multiple application servers. Your one application server will be enough. Now I'm going to create one web front-end server for distributing the load of the users. I'm going to create one more web front-end servers, so that if in 1 minute 5,000 requests are coming, they will approximately equally be divided into 2,500 each. Okay, that will reduce the 50% load of one by adding one additional web front end, that is this one. I am going to assume that I am reducing the 50% load on I am distributing the load equally up to half. Now the next thing is that I am going to create one more virtual machine, and in that I am going to install SharePoint with the role of distributed cache. That will be my separate distributed cache server. The next thing is that I am going to create one more virtual machine in the same domain, and I am going to install SharePoint with a role of search server. Okay, now at that point I realize that my content will be in millions, my documents will be in millions, I have thousands of users. So what I am going to do, if I am going to configure the search service in my farm, I am going to create a separate database server for search. It is not mandatory, but it is recommended. You can map this search server with the primary database server as well, but in order to reduce the load or divide the load or segregate the load of search crawlers into a separate server, you are going to create one more search DB server, and you will add it in application through central admin. That is quite easy. I will show you in my later videos. Now at this point, my one site, that is my primary site or a primary SharePoint farm, is ready. Okay, in primary farm, how many virtual machines are there? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 virtual machines will be there, and every virtual machine will have its dedicated or defined role, except these two, because these two have same roles, but they are distributing overall load. The main load or the user load will come on these two servers mainly. Okay, now let's see. I have deployed a network load balancer here, so that it will divide the load equally among these two servers. Okay, now n number of user requests. Now I am going to make this system live. The system is live now, and thousands of user requests are coming. When they will come here it is defined that how many web front-end servers are there. I'm going to tell about this thing in detail, configuring load balancer in detail in my upcoming video as well. Now the user requests are equally divided among between these two web front-end servers. There may be 3 web front-end servers, there may be 4 web front-end servers, but right now I have only 2 web front-end servers. So my load of the end users is distributed equally among these 2 web front-end servers. Now these web front-end servers will query the required data from primary database server. In milliseconds, if your 1000 users are connecting with this site or farm, in milliseconds the requests are coming and the IOPS are hitting by web front-end server to the primary database server. Now SharePoint application server has a inventory of its all servers in that are part of this server farm. So application server has already told every server of its SharePoint component that distributed cache server is there. So what distributed cache server will do, it will cache all the frequent called requested data. So what web front-end servers will do, whenever the call will come, they will first go to the distributed cache for fetching the frequent data. If the data is already cached here, it will entertain the user request here despite of going to the database server. So cache server is in this way is greatly reducing the load or the IOPS calls on primary database server. Rather going to the primary database server, they are fetching the data from already cached memory of your distributed cache server. Okay, so in this way distributed cache server is entertaining the requests, and distributed cache server normally operates on the port 22333 I think, or 2233. I'm not just sure about it, but it's similar like that. Now the next thing is that whenever the users are requesting the search queries, the users are searching any data, what all the calls will be forwarded from web front end to search server. And what search server will do, it will query the search related data from the search DB server despite of hitting the primary database server. So all the search related queries that are indicated in yellow arrow will be called or will be called from the search DB server instead of primary database server. If you are not planning to deploy a separate search DB server, then at least your virtual drive of the search DB must be separated in your primary database server. Okay, so that the read write calls of your drive are segregated among two drives. Okay, that is a virtual drive, that may be a data drive of D or E alphabet as per your server requirement. Now this site is working fine. Okay, all the working principles of this primary site I've already elaborated you in few minutes, in earlier few minutes. Okay, now I am thinking that my all the database is relying on primary database server. What happens if my primary database server crashes or fails? So that is a single point of failure, and I have to worry a little. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new secondary database server. Okay, I'm going to create a new database server. I will add it domain in my domain. If I have separate 2 DBs, primary DBs, I will create 2 secondary DBs. Alternatively, if you have only one, you will create a replica of that. For creating a replica, I'm going to show you what you will do. Initially, you have created a new database server without any configuration. That database server is a part of your domain. Now what you are doing, you are creating a new application server. Okay, that will be a SharePoint standby application server. That is just in case this application server fails, The standby application server will be responsible for managing all the requests. Okay, or in peacetime it's also distributing the load of the application server, which is not so much. And similarly, you have created 2 additional web front-end servers. Now logically these sites are separated, but physically you are adding additional servers in your single farm. Okay, that is a little confusing, but I will explain you more about it. Now this is a secondary site. Logically, this is a logical diagram. In logically separated component, you are seeing that this is a logically separated server farm. And what you will do now, you will configure your primary database with always on high availability with the secondary database. That is a service that is already available in Microsoft SQL Management Studio. Always on high availability is facilitating you with an option of real-time replication in a synchronous mode, or you can also configure it in asynchronous depending upon the bandwidth among these databases server. Now in case of failure of primary site, what will happen? All of these your servers have crashed because they are physically located in one data center, and these are physically located in another data center. So what you all need to do is to reconfigure your load balancer, so that your end user request, in spite of going to that site, that WFEs will go to these WFEs. Okay, I'm going to explain it in detail in my next video. So now all of these services will be given to the users. There are auto switching load balancers as well. So they, in case your primary site fails, they will auto relocate your user request to secondary site or fault tolerance site. Okay, in this way your all the deployment plan can work easily. So the next video is how you can configure a software load balancer, because network load balancer that are hardware components are come by different companies. They are also used by different data centers, and they are also used to distribute the user request evenly among all the front-end servers that are entertaining the client request. So this will be the upcoming video. Right now, up till this point, I think that it is quite clear to all of you. All those users who have any queries regarding this video may mention them in comment box, so that I can help you or guide you to the best of my experience. All the video facts that I have already covered in these theoretical slides, these are purely based upon my practical experience and Microsoft recommendations. And all those new viewers who have not subscribed my channel, I request you to subscribe my channel and enjoy watching more videos. I thank you all.